Hi, in today's session we're going to be talking about the thinking aspect of the mind. In that regard, whenever you're given in a particular situation or an event is occurring or something in the relationship is going on, your mind is always thinking about how to deal with it. In fact, there's a universal teaching that says we look back, which ties into memory. We look back in order to see ahead. And the reason for that is because whatever is going on, the way that you have responded to it in the past is the way you're going to respond to it in the now and in the future. And in fact, here's that teaching in Ecclesiastics. Okay? What is now hath been, what will be is now. That is a pattern of behavior going in a cycle. And that's why history repeats itself, even your personal history. Because I know you've said, I'm never going to do this again, I'm never going to be in that kind of a situation again, I'm not going to be in that kind of a relationship again, and yet, here you are. Everything looks different, may even feel a little different, but in reality, the fundamental energy and concept is still working. I guess a prime example are women and men who have been in abusive relationships, and or children who have been abused. When they grow into adult, what do? They abuse either their children or their spouse, whichever the case may be. And those who have gone through those abusive relationships and get a divorce end up going into another abusive situation. Why? Because it's all in keeping with the concepts and their expectations of what a unity is all about. So your mind has multiple facets and multiple ways that it thinks about different things. And the way that you evaluate a situation, the way that you respond to the situation, again, comes down to concepts in the subconscious mind. The spiritual aspect of your mind is that which is connected to God. Remember, in the King James Version, Jesus says that the kingdom of God is within. Period. Man doesn't teach you that. Man tells you, look out there, look over there, and you can't get to God unless you come through me. Well, that's nonsense. That's nothing to do with what Jesus taught. That's just man's manipulation of man. At any rate, learn how your mind thinks. Learn how you think, how you perceive, how you feel. And we've covered those two already about everything that's in front of you. Remember, you're co-creating your reality. Understand what your expectations are, because that's what you're fulfilling. You know, your mind is a goal-seeking device. It's like a computer. And you know the expression about computers, garbage in, garbage out. Look at the health of our country. Look at the emotional state of our country. Look at the hate in our country. Where's that coming from? Obviously, it's coming from the within. It's coming in from the way a person was raised. Now, you're going to say, well, hey, wait a minute. I know so-and-so, and his parents or her parents are fabulous, loving people, and yet this person is like, you know, a white supremacist. Where's that come from? Well, there are two modes of acceptance. Some of us think that we need to be just like mom or dad in order to have acceptance. So we follow the traditions, we follow the culture, we follow the family, everything, the diet. That's why sometimes diseases roll downhill. Why? Because you're eating the same diet. Simple enough, right? And you're maintaining the same thoughts. In the Bible, in Exodus, it says the inequities of the father are passed on 3 to 4 generations. Well, an inequity is an imbalance, from my point of view, in thinking. A lack of understanding, poor behavior, poor attitude. So some children follow along the family lines either using approval as a form of acceptance, or rejection as a form of acceptance. And there are causes for that, which we'll explain as we get further into. But right now, we're kind of up here. We're not digging real deep. We will as time goes on, because the more that you understand, in fact, here's a really good book to start with, and it's free at thecudateachings.org. And as you work with the book, as you work with the material, and understand it, and more importantly than understanding is applying it to your daily life, then your level of consciousness and awareness and understanding grows. So what you understand at one level today, as you work with the material, in an hour from now, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, you'll have different understandings, a deeper understanding, which will lead you to greater and more epiphanies about, oh my God, that's how it is. Okay? So look at the concepts in your subconscious mind as best you can. Write down how you think about things, how you feel, going back to that exercise, how you feel about things. And know that here's something else that takes place. And Jesus taught we're all the children of God. We're all the sons of the Father, is how it's put. And it's either in the King James Version, and if I can find it, I'll put it up here. And if it's not there, I'm positive it's in the Gospel according to Thomas, which happens to be my favorite piece of biblical work. And the reason for that is really very simple. That was written while Jesus was alive, whereas the Gospels were written 70 years after his death. What's also interesting about the Gospels is that if you talk to biblical scholars, they will tell you that most of the Gospels come from a particular document which they call the Q document. I personally believe, based on what's in the New Testament, that most of what is coming is from the Gospel according to Thomas. The church considers the Gospel of Thomas heresy. And the reason is simple, because in it Jesus always said that go within yourself. That's why the whole thing in Matthew about the narrow path and few that find it. It's an inward journey. Find the God within you. The kingdom is within. Luke 17:21. We are, in truth, spiritual beings in a material body. So hopefully I've given you some things to think about in this session, as well as the previous sessions where we covered feelings and perceptions. The next thing we're going to talk about is wills, your willpower. Powerful stuff. Anyway, hope you're having a fabulous day. I hope this has stimulated thinking, questions, challenges. You can always write to me here. You can agree, you can disagree, you can, have an epiphany and share an insight. Maybe give me a point of view that I haven't seen. I'm open to everything, because the more I know, the more I grow. But in all honesty, the information has to come from the within. And so by hearing what you have to say can open up something within me, as I hope I open up something within you that will bring you greater peace, joy, health, harmony. Until we chat again, take care of yourself, think about things, and be well.